Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Sam Ambassador Friday Fun Day style. I'm your host, Sam Byler, and I am here with none less than the whole Texas barbecue crew. So we want to talk bash stuff a little bit. This episode's going to be geared around shed hauling a little more, about where the bash is headed. And these guys here are the guys that, in my opinion, started it all. I know Caleb was posting on Facebook a couple years, I think, before Jason called me up. Jason actually called me up and said, hey, I want to do something up here in the Northwest like what those Texas guys are doing. And we didn't even really know what y'all were doing. All I knew was Caleb was parking a whole bunch of rigs out in the field, and they were having too much fun for me not to be there. I'm not even sure that I knew Mervin and Karl back at that time. So I've got Caleb Miller, Karl Schrock, and Mervin Vargas on with me today. And they're the guys that head up the Texas barbecue. Caleb, you were always the one that kind of was pushing it out there to start with. Was this your idea, or where'd this idea even come from to start with?
Yeah, I think it was my idea. The first couple of years, or I guess the first time we got it together, I just started calling people, and I don't even remember how many calls I made. Just, hey, would you guys like to just get together one day and, have some barbecue or just hang out? The barbecue thing kind of came a little bit later, but I was just like, come hang out, bring your rigs, just so everybody can look at everything. That's just really what it started with, because I was just like, hey, I don't know. I mean, I knew a lot of guys, but I was like, I was trying to get people I didn't know to come to it. And my whole thought was that, when we go down the road and you see somebody broke down, I mean, we go all over. At least you know who it is that's broke down, and you're more likely to help each other when that happens. So that's kind of the whole, let's get together and get to know each other.
Wait a minute. You guys are in Texas and you run semis and you break down? I thought that was the secret to the whole shed hauling gig, was to get to a semi so you don't break down anymore. No comment? So did you know Mervin and Karl before you started doing this? You said you were riding down the road and you didn't really know anybody. Where did you get to know them?
I don't even remember how I got to know Mervin. I probably got to know Mervin actually when he started coming to these things. I'm not sure. And Karl, I honestly do not remember the first time I met Karl. He probably started coming to these things too, but I don't really remember when he started to come. Back when when we started it, Mervin was with Leland's then, so he would bring Leland's trucks and win the best show award, all this and that. He'd have how many people voting for his truck, and then when he got his own trucks, then he for sure had everybody voting for him. So,
yep. Karl, do you remember when you met these guys?
Well, I think trying to remember the first year that I was actually there. But I started in Leland's in January 5th of 15. And so I don't remember when the first bash was. Caleb, do you remember? Well, it was 9 years ago, because this was our 9th.
Yeah, this is 9th.
It was, it would have been, I think, either August or September. We kind of screwed around with the date of that same year. So I don't know if you came that time or not, but we started, originally we did it in either August or September. I think it was maybe September, but we kept bumping it back because it kept being so hot all the time. So we just kind of figured out that October is the best time for Texas.
Yeah. No kidding. Still gets hot sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't remember if it was that first year or not, but if it was, like Caleb said, Mervin was still driving one of Leland's rigs. And at that point I was transportation manager. So if the fleet went, I probably went, maybe even took a truck. I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But just through that, I'm like Caleb. I don't really remember how we got connected, but it's been a pleasure working together.
Mervin, you got any input? One of you guys should have a memory.
That's how I got to know Caleb. I would hear what's his name, Caleb? The other guy used to help you, Hostetler.
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. Yeah.
Brandon. I knew Brandon, and kind of through Brandon, I think Caleb was one that called me about going. And I said, yeah, we'll go. But I didn't know who this Caleb was. I knew who Brandon was, but I didn't know who this Caleb guy was. And that's where I met him. And then from there, it's history. You know, that's where I get to know him.
That is crazy that you guys actually know each other because of what Caleb started doing. And it's the main reason we push these things is to walk across the street and get to know the guy across the street. And Caleb nailed it. How many times have we heard stories about somebody's broke down and it actually ends up being what we used to think was our competition? I don't even look at it that way anymore. That comes and helps you because you just grew a friendship from getting together and hanging out and eating some barbecue.
Yeah, on my way back from last trip in North Carolina, I had to take a leak pretty bad, so I pulled over, and then I heard a hiss over there under the trailer tire. So I was over there on my knees checking it out, and all of a sudden I heard these japes, and I look up, and here comes a shed hauler, and he is locking. I even smelled brakes, and he pulled over. So I had to run into the truck and get in the CB to tell him, no, I'm good, you know. And here he knew me, and I have no idea who he was. So our CBs were a little bit, I don't know if it was his or mine, but I tried to ask him who he was, and I couldn't understand. But he sure knew who I was. He called me by name, wondering if I was on my way back from North Carolina and where I was headed. I'm, man, who is this guy?
Where were you at?
On 49, between Shreveport and Texarkana.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
And he was driving the truck that Kurt Hess used to have, and he sold it, went to the West Coast, and now it's down here. But he bought it from somebody on the West Coast.
I got you. So, Karl, when did you transition? You said back then you were what'd you call it, transport manager or something like that. When did you transition out of that, and what keeps you tied into this bunch? You always show up, you always got a smile on your face, and you're always helping with everything. You can't get away, can you?
Well, I just enjoy hanging out with the haulers, and I used to drive truck before I got involved in the shed industry. I drove truck. I hauled live birds, chickens.
Oh,
and,
I guess.
And that was rather stressful. That was actually more stressful than hauling wide loads, if you ask me, because if it's hot, 80 degrees, 80% humidity, and you got 16-week-old birds on, you ain't stopping, you're going. And if you stop, you're killing birds. So It can be 500, 1,000 miles. Don't really matter. You got to keep rolling. And I came to Texas and started working with Leland's, working with Mervin and that whole bunch. And if they have a problem, what do? They pull over. And I'm like, boy, guys, y'all are spoiled. You can just pull over, fix whatever's needed. But I just enjoy, I really enjoy and connect with Caleb's vision of the barbecue and connecting people, learning from each other. There was a lot of, for a couple of years there was a lot of, well, my rig's not nice enough, or I don't want to bring it because it's not pretty enough, and we tried hard to simmer that down a little bit by saying, look, that's not, the point isn't to have a pretty rig. Obviously, we want a very professional looking rig pulling into our customers, but we're here to learn from each other. Everyone does something a little different. We can all learn from each other. And if we're humble enough to admit that, we're all further ahead as an industry. And I really connected with Caleb's vision with that. And so I enjoy coming, helping, putting it on. I enjoy trucks. So even though I don't drive anymore, I guess if it's once in your blood, it's always in your blood. You know how that is.
Oh yeah, I'm just sitting here and I'm agreeing with all of that. I was in sheds before I was in trucking, but then trucking took over for years, and even building houses took over from sheds. But end up back in sheds, and yeah, now I'm not trucking, but I mean, obviously trucks are they get in your blood, and it's part of you. Even when you get away from it, you always have a soft spot. You're driving down the road on a trip and you see a nice rig and you still pay attention. You still see those and it's like, oh yeah, there goes a nice rig. Or you hear Jake going and it's like, yep, that's so I get it. I understand that. But it's just you guys, if you guys fight, you fight very well in private. Because it's such a pleasure to see you three guys work together. I know all of you fairly well now, and literally from the same thing. I think Vargas showed up. Didn't you come to Montana?
I did.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we first. Caleb, where were you at? I met you at one of these. Was it there?
I mean, I was in Montana. I think we met the first time at one of our family reunions out in South Carolina. You got invited to come over and hang out with us one evening and sing and this and that with your wife. And
yeah, that is true.
that was the first time we met.
Yep. And I think Montana would have been soon after that, because I remember that now that you say that man, that first Montana one, Josh Linder and Paul Stonacker came in from North Carolina. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And then Keith Stolzfus came all the way in from Pennsylvania. Abner came. Trying to think who there was some oddball pieces. Texas, you guys brought a big crowd. The Miller boys came. That's where a lot of all those, like, they came from all different places. And
introducing the Challenger, the revolutionary new shed mover that's taking the industry by storm. The Challenger features a touchless design, ensuring it only makes contact at the end of the skids and the bottom of the floor joists, so rest easy knowing your gable walls will remain pristine. Worried about reliability? Fear not, the Challenger is always up for the challenge and will not overturn or scuff your shed. Harness the power of innovative wireless technology. Remotely control the Challenger via your smartphone. No cell service needed. And guess what? The cell phone remote comes standard with every Challenger at no extra cost. Featuring floating forks, a 4-directional tilting mast, and sliding weight transfer, move the shed weight precisely where you need it to get ultimate traction. With self-loading capability, straight onto your truck, say goodbye to the need for a hydraulic carriage. The Challenger makes your job easy and more efficient. Choose from 2 machine sizes, 10,000 pounds and 15,000 pounds. Perfect for any job. Visit www.shedchallenger.com or email us at info@shedchallenger.com or call or text 828-220-3508 for more information. Experience the future of shed moving with the Challenger.
just an interesting little tidbit about what's going on in North Carolina and all that stuff right now. On the Tennessee side of it, in Irwin, Tennessee, there's a huge old hickory plant that was there that got hammered. They lost over 200 sheds. And that used to be Josh Linder's plant. He has since moved out to the West Coast somewhere, and I think he's like a regional sales guy or something out there. I'm not sure what he does. But I used to stop in that plant all the time and see Josh. And the other day I was watching a news clip, and it actually showed that building, and all the huge doors were blown out of it. There's trees inside the building. There's mudded, crashed up cars inside it, and sheds are all gone. I mean, you can't find, it was crazy. Anyway, it was interesting to think about. Since Josh is on the road, I don't see him near as much anymore. But yeah, Paul was out there for that one. And, most people be like, I don't remember where I met Paul. Paul's been around forever. And it's just cool to see that. So let's switch a little bit from the background side of Texas barbecue to, I asked you guys a couple years ago already if you guys would be interested in running together with the Bash one year, because it just doesn't seem right to go to Texas and not have it with you guys. You guys can figure out who takes turns or where you go from there. But how do you guys feel about teaming up with and I mean, you can be brutal. You can say, oh, well, it's kind of weird or whatever, but what's your feelings on teaming up with the Bash next year? What are you guys thinking is going to happen? Have you had a chance to talk about it at all yet? Caleb, you can go first. You're kind of the guy that's more or less in charge.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit, but we have not set a date, which is what we really need to do today to get together about that. We have talked about different stuff like that, but I'm excited. I think it's great. I mean, it was like the same thing when back to Montana that you were talking about. When I found out about the one in Montana, I'm like, I'm going. Like, this is great. Somebody else got this good idea as well. Like, they just like, this is great. But the more we can do this, the better. And it's been amazing how big that has grown. So, like, for me, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of work here and there or whatever. But at the same time, it's like we can get that many more people to come to one of these. And maybe they'll come just because it's in Texas. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely. Merv?
Oh, I'm excited about it. A little nervous, but excited.
Man, you're an old hand at this by now. We should.
Shit.
It's, I get it every year. It's like I start stressing out the last 2 weeks, and it's so dumb because it's like, is anybody going to show up? Is anybody going to show up? Who's going to? It's like, come on, man. The good thing about it is it's bigger than all of us. All we got to do is throw a date out there and a place out there, and the whole thing just kind of rolls on its own. Even sponsors now. It's I wanted to make sure I wasn't thinking about doing it right now. I was going to do it more towards the end. But the thing that makes it work for me that's huge is the sponsors. To be able to poke an email list, write out a nice little script, kind of where my heart is, what I'm feeling or whatever, and to hit send and know the response I'll get back immediately from some of those guys, it's incredible. Like, there's no feeling that matches that feeling of knowing that you have people that are in this industry have your back when it comes to doing something like this. Even Carl's bunch. I mean, they're always there, and they're always there on your things, And you think about it, we're not just doing it. The Oklahoma boys, they throw a great one. Nepp is getting to where he throws an incredible one in Indiana. Martin and Joe are doing a great job down in Georgia. We've talked about starting one in North Carolina again. The Pennsylvania boys have talked about doing it. So it's not like it's just once, one thing every so often. It happens on a regular basis, and these guys always step up big. And I think that's what makes it easy. You started saying something.
I was going to ask, but a little bit off subject, I guess. Why does it never happen again in West Coast?
Well, I think it's more because, okay, so like Utah, we knew that was going to be a smaller one, just because you don't pull the traffic. But it was like one of my best ones.
I meant more like the barbecues.
Oh, yeah. Why is nobody doing an annual barbecue?
Yeah.
So you have to have a local person. Somebody local has to decide to step up and say, hey, I think I can do this. I think it's because there's a couple of those West Coast guys that show up if we're, on the western half of if they showed up in Utah, I think they would show up. I'm hoping they'll show up in Texas. They said they're gonna, but I think you have to kind of come and show up and be a part of it before you realize, I got a visitor back here. Never mind. Like, So it's a little bit like I tell people about the Tennessee, North Carolina issue right now. You have to be there. Like, it doesn't really get into you until you actually show up. I've got new guys. North Carolina was incredible on the feedback I got from guys that were saying, I had no idea it would be this. I don't know. They didn't really use the word fun, this real. Like that I would actually have guys that would come up and talk to me, that I could actually talk to other guys. I kind of thought I was just going to show up and be on my own. I think well, first of all, you got to come get that buy-in. I would give a shout out that I'd say, the Bryce and some of those guys out there, or Sydney, some of those California guys, if they would step up and throw one, we'd all go. I'd love to go to Northern California.
I'll go.
So maybe we just need to start pushing them dudes a little bit and be like, hey, if you throw one, we'll show. We had to do that for North Carolina. Michael wanted to do one, and it was like, just do it. We'll come. So maybe, I guess that's my answer to that, is the fact that, and they ask, hey, can we bring the bash out here? And I'm like, well, if somebody shows some effort, why wouldn't we? But without effort, it's kind of hard to do. You'd go?
I would go.
Caleb would, if we wouldn't interfere with his pool business, I guess.
I'd probably go. I mean, obviously it depends on what time of year, but
what time of the year do you go to Northern California?
I don't know. I would hope so. Like probably wintertime. I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, they get snow if you're out in the mountains.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I've never been to California, so yeah, I'd go.
Oh, you got some connections out there, don't you? Don't some of the shed industry guys bounce back and forth in your circles from out there? Well, I think Mervin has some too.
Yeah, Mervin, I don't know that I do. Not off the top of my head. Know that I know anybody out there really.
Yeah, we have we have some drivers out in that area that pull for us. Justin Hostad, our Haas Transport.
There you go. I couldn't think of him.
Super good guy. Runs a great company. Great hauler. He pulls for us for some of the Oregon, and I've tried to get him to come to Texas. He thinks it's far for some reason. But yeah, I would love to be able to go out there, and I absolutely would participate.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So you guys where are we going with this thing? You said you're going to work a date up. I'm guessing, we're hoping sometime in October. Have you guys talked anything about, I know Caleb or Mervin, one of them told me that they think they have an idea of where we can maybe have one. Any testers or feelers or hints you want to throw out there about what you're looking at?
So I am looking at a place, and they're supposed to get back with me. It's would be right around the Temple area there, and it's like a 50-acre property. They have RV hookups already. It's an Antique Tractor Show Association ground, and so it's it's only a couple of minutes off. Barely even a minute or so off the interstate, and close to a big city there where there's plenty of hotels and stuff like that. So that part's really nice. The only bad thing is we'd have to put up a big tent, for everybody to be able to eat in. They have a pavilion, but it's not super large. But it's got sectioned off areas for like spectator parking. Like acres and acres of. It's grass, but they get rain there and people pull in there anyway. So it's been there for years and years. They actually have a tractor pull track, so they use it to pull these old antique tractors. So I don't know if they have a sled that'd be available or not, but I was like, it might be kind of cool.
Oh, we had a sled lined up. The guy from Pennsylvania will bring his sled. We had him lined up in Tennessee until the floods hit. And I'm almost scared to even mention the word pull anymore, because every time we mention it, we end up with a flooded field we can't use. That was even in North Carolina. We had that bottom field that we were supposed to be able to use until it turned into a mud pit. I guess we could have had a mud bog with the mules, but
Unlock the power of productivity with Cardinal Leasing. Are you looking to elevate your business operations with top-tier equipment? Look no further than Cardinal Leasing. We offer a wide range of reliable and high-quality equipment tailored to meet your unique needs. Flexible leasing options. Whether you need short-term rentals or long-term solutions, our customizable leasing plans are designed to provide maximum flexibility and affordability. Conventional financing available. Cardinal Leasing also offers great conventional finance options for those of you that prefer that over-lease purchase options. Expert support. Our team of experienced professionals is here to guide you every step of the way, ensuring a seamless leasing experience. Boost efficiency. With our top-of-the-line equipment, you can enhance productivity, reduce downtime, and achieve your business goals faster. Why choose Cardinal Leasing? Competitive rates, exceptional customer service, hassle-free process, quick and easy approvals. Don't let outdated equipment hold you back. Partner with Cardinal Leasing today and take your business to the next level. Contact us now. Visit our website at equipment.cardinalleasing.us or call us at 618-803-4086 to get started.
So this place, the tent thing isn't, I don't mind the tent thing. What caught us off guard in Pennsylvania was the wind. Y'all remember how windy it got in Pennsylvania? And I mean, not only that, it had rained a ton there too. We turned that place into a mud hole, but it still worked. Tents are expensive, but as long as you know to budget for them, you can make it work. That was one thing that made it nice about North Carolina was every time we were talking about the budget, where we were going to spend money and stuff, it's like, hey, at least we don't have the tent expense. But if we know going into it that we have it, and we have a little bit of surplus this time. So I'm Texas with a tent, like I'm thinking of Flag Hall. And instead of having, the building there, just have a big tent. I don't see much difference. I don't see, I can see that being just as fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll work okay, but obviously a little worried about they said, well, we got, they were like, well, how much of this yard would you like to use? And I was like, the whole place. And I don't know about that. And we got a lot of, they still have like old tractors sitting around there. Like, we don't want parts to go missing. And I tried not to laugh, but I'm just like, I was like, we literally were going to have at least $10 million worth of trucks coming in here. I mean, we really aren't going to care about some old tractors. So I don't think that'd be a problem. So yeah, I'm waiting to hear back. I did find another guy that knows somebody on the board. He actually
nice.
And so I got to get with him I told him, I said, you need to ask that guy. I need to follow up with him yet to see if we've heard anything about that. But yeah, as far as a date, I've been kind of in my head, just kind of keeping it the same time of the year as we do our Texas one, just because it kind of seems to be the best time to come to Texas as far as weather. I mean, obviously you never know with rain, that can always screw you up. But other than that, it's, usually October is not extremely hot anymore, and it's most of the time not extremely cold. So that's kind of what we're shooting for, or I am anyway. We haven't made any definite plans yet on any of it. So
yeah, I've literally just been going off the fact that it always seems to be pretty close to the third Saturday in October. So you guys need to let me know different as soon as you figure out if that's not what's happening, because that's kind of where I'm stuck at right now. But let's brainstorm a little bit. So the bash is still geared pretty heavily towards competitions and stuff. And I know you guys have kind of backed off of that. You want to get back to the relaxed feel that we want everybody to show up, to hang out, and to have a good time. What are we looking for? Like, I'm wide open. I really liked having all those other goofy little competitions going that some of the sponsors were able to get involved with their people. I never got any feedback from you guys on it. The sponsors loved it. They felt like they were more involved or whatever. You guys have any, what are you guys stewing on as far as what you want to see happen?
Go ahead, Mervin.
Why you throw me under the bus? My personal feeling about the whole thing, I hate those competitions. So that's kind of why I guess all three of us I don't know if all the other guys hate it, but we kind of agree that we don't like them, so we stay away. So if you ask me, I would go with no competitions, but if there is competitions, then I'm more willing to help with it.
There is a there's a good side of competitions, and I think they have served their place. But probably part of the reason that the three of us for sure got kind of tired of competitions is year after year after year. Like we mentioned, we just did our 9th. If you always have the same competition every year, by year 3, 4, everybody's standing there knowing what's going to happen next, and they're like, okay, we've seen this before, and the crowd starts going back into the building, and you kind of lose interest. And sometimes it's hot in Texas, so standing out there. It kind of got old. So what we actually did is we had that feeling, but if you remember, Sam, we put out a survey and asked people, what did you prefer, competitions or relaxed? And it was a resounding, we love the relaxed environment. Just get together, eat good barbecue. Our guy, Richard, that does the barbecue, does a really good job with the food. And let's get together, relax, eat barbecue, connect, and call it a day. So that's kind of why we have went to that. It does get old to do competitions, and it's a lot of work, but if that's what people want, I don't think any of us are afraid of the work that's involved.
So we can, I'm all for this. I would love, so in Utah, it was a little bit more like that. We still had some, but we kicked back. Jason and I actually talked about the fact of how cool it is to be able to hang out more, not to have something always going on. So if the 4 of us would take a vote right now, it'd be a unanimous vote that we can take a year off. We're going to Texas. This is what we're going to do. We ain't going to do any competitions. We might even bring some entertainment in or something, to where we don't, nobody has to organize all that. You guys would actually be in favor of that, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hey, going back to when we first started these things, I wanted to. I thought, oh yeah, let's do these things. I wasn't doing it in a competition way, but I was just like, there might be ways of loading and unloading buildings that might be, faster watching somebody else. That was my whole thing. But we got buildings lined up and everything, and then nobody wanted to do anything. And
true.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm inviting these guys to come hang out. They don't want to do this, and I'm not going to push them to do it. And so we brought buildings 2 years in a row when we first started there, and nobody I was like, hey, you guys want to go, do this, do some mule races or something? And everybody like, I'd rather just, sit here and hang out and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, fine. So we quit even started having buildings show up. And, but then, after the bash thing started happening, people started really, wanting to, do it a little bit more. So then we actually got people to for the first, couple of years, but the longer we went on with it, it was hard to get people to sign up. I know that the bash thing is, there's some people that really look forward to that. So yeah, my vote is, don't do it because I like, just being able to chill, but it's also one of them things I'm always about, hey, if there's people that want to do something, we'll make it happen, so it's kind of,
yeah. So the thing that stood out to me in North Carolina was we had like 3 semis sign up for the semi one. And that was after Pennsylvania had a bunch of them. But for whatever reason in North Carolina, there was only like 3, maybe 4 that had signed up for the semi delivery competition. And then I was able to maybe drag 1 or 2 in. No, I think I had 2 signed up, and I drug 2 more in, and I ended up with 4. But after it was over with, the guys that had watched the semi-competition, they were like, if we would have known you were going to make it so much more fun and less stressful than Pennsylvania was, we would have signed up and done it. And I'm like, you never know.
Yeah.
We are going to switch it up. We're not going to keep it the same. I am 100% behind the idea that we'll do competitions again. But if we go to Texas, we're going to do it Texas style, and we're just going to kick back and hang out and eat and have good food. And if you want to do competitions, we'll have them back again. But let's just take a year and just forget about them. That was one of the main things I wanted to get discussed today. Was if it would be cool, and we'll throw it out. I'll do like Carl says. We'll throw it out there and be like, okay, guys, here's your chance. What do you want to do here? You want to go to Texas and eat good barbecue? Or, of course, they said the best barbecues in North Carolina, and you guys just think you have good barbecue.
Yeah, right.
But maybe we should have a barbecue cook-off. What? I can almost see it. I see a cow. It keeps blurring out. Terry Black?
Terry Black's.
That's the best barbecue?
That's just good.
Oh, it's just good. You're not going to pull a Richard Miller and tell me it's the best barbecue? You know what? We could do that. We could get 4 or 5 guys to come in with barbecue, and we could sit there and eat barbecue, and we could all be judges. And we could solve it once and for all where the best barbecue is.
This year, the way we did it this year with the Challenger and the big granddaddy diesel meal that Cardinal came out with, I think that was really neat and actually productive for everybody to see what those machines are able to do. That was educational. So I want you to hear me. I'm not against anything like that. Like if we want to, if manufacturers or trailer manufacturers want to show off their equipment for educational purposes, that's perfect. Like I think that's a good thing, and I'd support that 100%. But that's a very different context than going around trying to get people to sign up to do something that they're not sure that they actually want to do. That's where it, like Caleb said, it got to where people didn't really want to do it anymore.
This is the Shed Geek, and I'm here to endorse one of my favorite products, VersaBend from Cold Spring Enterprises. If you are in the carport or metal building business or have been looking to expand into that field, then VersaBend Tube Bender is a must-have. At VersaBend, we thank you for your interest in our tube bender. The VersaBend is designed to bend 2-inch, 2 1/4 inch, and 2 1/2 inch square tubing, as well as the 2x3 rectangular tubing in either 12 gauge or 14 gauge. Powered by a robust 5 horsepower unit, it features 2 adjustable stops for setting your desired degree or pitch. Priced at just $19,500 FOB from Abbeville, South Carolina, you can secure your VersaBend with a down payment of only $1,500. Contact us to check availability and get placed on our order list. VersaBend is a family-owned business dedicated to providing an easy-to-operate bender made with off-the-shelf components. A unique feature of our bender is that it offers a full radius bend, unlike the double crushed bends produced by most other machines. Want to see it in action? Visit our website at www.csecarport.supply or give us a call at 864-446-3645.
Every barbecue that I go, I've went to almost every one of them. I think every one of them. But it's the same thing. You see the guys that are running it just out there just begging and begging. We need more. Come on, sign up. So that was one of the things that made me wonder why in the world we do it if we have to like drag people into it. So I was, in my mind, we should switch that to more like games, I don't know, like playing cornhole or stuff like that, make a competition out of that. And then while you're doing that, you're associating and visiting and getting to know the driver that you've been passing for the last year and didn't know who, well, that's you, and so on.
We were actually supposed to have, I had 2 guys volunteer to do a cornhole tournament. And for some reason it fell apart. I don't know what, I never heard for sure what happened, but I was like they came and they're like, hey, would you care if we did like a cornhole tournament Thursday night? And then, sometime on Friday before we close out with a winner circle or whatever, we have like the finishing 4 teams, finish up where everybody's watching. I'm like, man, yeah. I'm like, that center area was lit up with lights. You can go as late as you want to go. I know the weather threw a kink in it a little bit, but we had already decided we could move it inside if we needed to. But that's a fantastic idea. We could pull some stuff. I'm not that good at cornhole, so I'll probably sit there and watch them or give them a bunch of grief. But yeah, that's stuff you could do.
We can do companies against companies,
Oh. Yeah, I'm all about that. If you don't have a company, you just get to recruit your own company or what?
Yeah, go buddy up. Like, hey, you and I, let's do it.
Yeah, we might even get some sponsors in on that deal.
We got to put in on that. You got to be like, some of these different manufacturers are, well, if you haul for them, you're on their team, or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, you mentioned Cook does a fantastic job out there. Is he planning on being on board for a bigger crowd? Because we've always got Jonathan, that comes in and helps too. What are y'all looking at?
We are he's looking at, or he's open to the idea of being able to do it. We have decided that, we are going to have, not just I guess Jonathan coming to do the stuff, that we would like to have more of a Texas theme stuff. So we haven't, made up, whatever. We're not set in stone on anything, but we've discussed that hey, we really don't need somebody to come from Pennsylvania, come to Texas to cook food. Like, we've got good food cooking people here.
I'm sure he'd appreciate a break too.
So, I mean, that's kind of what we were looking at. We're, talking to, and we were actually talking to Richard, our guy, and he actually was recommending some kind of big guy that does huge events.
Nice.
That would be good for it, but he did say you'd have to get on his radar really, really quick, because he books way out ahead. But he does. He'll like the whole city of Austin. What do they have, that stupid festival? I don't remember what, that music festival thing. And he'll feed the workers there and stuff. So yeah, he's big,
nice.
Big time.
Cool. So we got to give us something to work on. Yeah. Anything any of you guys want to get out to I mean, we're less than a year. That seems crazy. It's like I don't know. I thought moving it every 18 months would make it a little bit easier and free it up, and it rolls around just as fast. I don't know how. What do you guys want to put out there to people, that individually, all together? What do you want people to know that why should they come to Texas? Obviously, you guys don't twist anybody's arms. You're like, show up or don't show up. We don't really care. We're going to have a good time. Just give me your best 1-minute commercial that you got.
The reason I enjoy working with Mervin and Caleb in doing the Texas Bash is because we always have a theme, and Mervin actually came up with the idea of this last year. It was excellent customer service through serving others. I think it was something like that. And we didn't really spend a lot of time on it, but our heart and our passion is to make the industry better by collaborating and bringing a better experience to the drivers, the manufacturers, the customer, everybody. And it's not focused just on the driver or just on the manufacturer or just on the RTO company. We care about every aspect of it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Murph.
On my part, I say, don't be scared to come. Don't question it. I was surprised even I know years ago it was worse, and it's this. The industry is, I don't know what's the right term, but everybody's afraid to go because what is so and so going to say, and what is this going to mean? And if I go and I'm seen with you, my boss isn't going to, get rid of me and all that good stuff. And this is to come and learn. This is not to come and poach. Because I had a manufacturer owner say that he's not sending his drivers because he knows that they're going to come talk to me. And I'm like, and what's that got to do with anything? He said, well, then be 2 weeks later, they'll be driving for you. And I'm like, well, that's a whole other problem you need to deal with. But anyway, it's not like that. I mean, I look at it more to get to know each other better. Like I said, you see a rig, man, I've seen that rig. I don't know how many times I pass it. Who is it? Who drives it? And somebody said, well, that's his rig, and point over. And so then I go and talk to him like, hey, I introduce myself. I see you go up and down. Well, which rig do you drive? Well, I drive one of the ones that I got, but sometimes the gray when they're this, oh, that's you, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And then you get to talking, and then what lots you run, and oh, cool. And so out of those conversations, sometimes you get a phone call 6 months later or so. Hey, I'm so and so. I'm like, oh shoot, you gotta refresh because I don't remember. Oh, we met at the bash or the barbecue. I was wondering if you can help me out. I was like, well, if I can, I sure will. And ends up that we can help each other, But that connection gets made at these events. So it's not, I'm going to go because I got a prettiest truck. Well, I'm not going to go because my truck doesn't compare to so-and-so's. I'm not going to go because I don't have, I'm not in the industry that long or, those kind of things that I've heard. So just leave all that aside and come.
Yeah, what I really like that has happened, and it wasn't like on purpose, I guess, but I mean, it was on purpose in some of the point, but it's become a big family get together. I mean, like, our kids are hanging out and, people, and we focus on that, trying to have stuff for the kids to do. My wife has been really instrumental in that, having a craft table for the kids to do something, not having everybody bored. Like, let's get everybody involved. And with all the kids, door prize stuff that we give away and everything. I think in Texas we have kids that are telling their parents that they want to come, so that also
Yeah, that's awesome. I
brings
love it.
the so that part's I really love the whole community, the family effect that we've had. And it wasn't necessarily that we were trying to do that, but it just kind of came about, and it's become like a huge success because of that. So I would love to have that, resonate on down through the bash part of it, and hey, bring your families. Like, this is a good, because we're all in this together. Like, it's not just drivers and manufacturers and whatever. Like, our families are a huge part of this. We're on the road and they're at home. So it's all about having everybody hang out and making everybody work and or it all work together with everybody.
Yeah. Cool. So the drift I get, I'm gonna try to wrap us up here before we get so long. She'll make us 2 episodes. The drift I get here is we're going to go to a more relaxed format. More, I've always said families are welcome, but it's never really been focused on, so to speak, for the big one, because we do have a lot of stuff going on all the time. And after the kid back got run over in Montana, Jason and I probably got a little more anal than we should have been about having kids around competitions or stuff. But hey, if we don't have competitions, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, so more relaxed food and bring your families. And like Merv said, I can't stress this enough. Put aside all those feelings of I don't think, because you don't know till you actually go and look at the people that keep coming back year after year. There's a reason that all of us enjoy doing this. There's a reason that we're gluttons for punishment to put these events on and stress ourselves out. It's worth it. It's worth coming. It's worth buying a plane ticket. It's worth driving, whatever it takes to do it. I really look forward to working with you guys over this next time. I had asked you guys a question. You guys still haven't answered me. I don't know if I'm going to put you on the spot here and ask you, but I had asked if you guys just want to take this one over and Jason and I get a break, or if y'all want a break and you want Jason and I to do it. I didn't get any feedback on either, so I'm assuming we're just all going to go at it and we'll come up with whatever we come up with. I love the idea of doing a theme. Excuse me. Let's keep it as much Texas focused. Like, it's just going to be a bigger Texas barbecue. Jason and I are here to help you however we can. We'll do whatever you ask us to do, other than jump up and down and dance on stage. Probably not going to happen. But hopefully we can even get Jason back out of the closet, his donkey jockey. You guys keep praying for Jason. Man, that dude's come a long way and had a rough road with when he had that accident and banged his head and then banged it 2 more times since then. He's kind of like an injured football player. I want to put him in a bubble, and you know him. He's not going to slow down. He's going to keep doing it. Next time he hits his head, it's not going to – I mean, it wasn't good the last time he did. So you guys keep praying for him. He's wide open, and he needs to slow down a little bit, I guess. Not sure what it takes to get somebody to do that. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You guys start planning. Keep us in the loop, whatever we can do to help you. That's what we'll do. All you sponsor guys out there, huge shout-out to all you guys for what you do and helping us to make to where we can do this. Anything any of you guys want to say yet in closing? You guys good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Cool. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming on today. I know it probably feels like I don't know what we did. We just kind of didn't, but it's to get the word out there and to start at least letting people know what we're doing and where we're going will help a lot. Don't forget you can follow Shed Geek on YouTube. You got the Amish call-in number where you can call in and listen to it. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, whatever it is. I don't do that heathen stuff, so I don't know how you listen to it on there. And then the newsletter. He always wants me to make sure I let y'all know about the newsletter. I'm going to do something I don't do a whole lot on here anymore. I'm going to close this in prayer. It's a cold, rainy day here. My heart's bleeding for the people in Tennessee and Carolina. I can't just say Western North Carolina anymore the way everybody else does, because now that I've been to the Tennessee side and I've seen the devastation over there, Eastern Tennessee has it every bit as bad as Western North Carolina does. It's just incredible how you go up one little river valley, and the further up you go and the narrower it gets, the worse it gets. You're like the bottom, you think this is as bad as it can get. And it's just, and then you just go up another valley and it's all over again. So if it's all right with you guys, I'm going to close this in prayer, and then you guys go have a fantastic, great day. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that we have to work together, to talk together, to plan together, and ultimately everything we do to bring honor and glory into you and to bring people to you. Not just for a future later, but for a future that starts today. Be able to show people that what life can really be all about. And God, I can't think of a better place I like doing life than with these guys, with the shed industry guys, the hauler guys, the builders, everyone that's involved in this industry. Yes, we all have tough days. We all have days when we wonder what we're doing and what other people are doing. But at the end of the day, to be able to honor and glorify you and to lead people to you, that's what it's all about. God, I just pray protection over everybody in this industry, wherever they're at today. If they're traveling on the roads, that you would grant them your protection, your peace, and that we would always remember to do to others as we want done to us. Pray for the people in Tennessee, Carolina mountains, as they're on a cold, rainy day, and a lot of them aren't prepared for it, that you would just continue to drive us forward in all we can do to help them. Thank you for your salvation to each of us. Thank you for your blessings to us. Amen.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford here at the Union Grove Lumber Studios, and we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.